Teachers in Argentina are receiving their vaccination for coronavirus in an effort to keep schools open during the pandemic and the rollout of vaccines. Vaccination centers have been set up in the capital and Buenos Aires province for teachers to get the jab in an effort to reassure them that working in schools is safe. The South American country, with a population of about 45 million, has so far received about 3 million doses of vaccines. According to reports, 1.7 million doses have already been administered. Argentina has registered over 2 million coronavirus cases and more than 53,000 deaths from COVID-19 since the pandemic began. Australians will be able to buy half-price flights to a dozen domestic holiday spots under a new scheme to boost tourism. The government said the 1.2 billion Australian dollar scheme aims to revive the local tourism sector amid the pandemic. That industry has been hardest hit by border closures and travel restrictions since early last year. Prime Minister Scott Morrison said the package of 800,000 cheaper airfares to be offered between April and July would encourage locals to visit other parts of the country. The government's JobKeeper wage subsidy scheme is to finish at the end of March, but the tourism sector, usually reliant on international visitors, still required support. Australia began its vaccine rollout scheme last month and has reported 0 locally acquired cases in the past fortnight. For a year now, the nation has closed its border to international arrivals, barring returning nationals and some exempted cases. President Joe Biden moved to help children fleeing violence in Central America on Wednesday, even as he grappled with a surge of migrants at the U.S. southern border that is taxing resources and exposing him to bipartisan criticism. White House border coordinator Roberta Jacobson told reporters on Wednesday the Biden administration is restarting the Central American Minors Program for Children, which between 2014 and 2017 allowed children fleeing violence in El Salvador, Guatemala, and Honduras to apply in their home countries to settle in the United States. Then President Donald Trump ended the program in 2017. It had allowed children under 21 years old with parents lawfully living in the United States to apply for a refugee resettlement interview as a way to avoid making the dangerous journey by themselves to the United States. The move was the latest step taken by Biden as he tries to create a more humane situation along the border with Mexico. U.S. officials are urging people not to try to cross the border, warning they will be sent back. Biden has not reversed a Trump-era public health rule that allows border agents to quickly expel most border crossers, but is not applying the policy to unaccompanied minors. Brazil has exceeded 2,000 COVID-related deaths in a single day for the first time as infection rates soar. The country has the second highest death toll in the world, behind the US with a total of 268,270 fatalities. Wednesday total was 2,286. Experts warned the transmission rate is made worse by more contagious variants. On Wednesday, former leader Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva hit out at President Jair Bolsonaro's stupid decisions made during the pandemic. Mr. Bolsonaro, who was pictured wearing a mask for the first time in a month on Wednesday, has consistently sought to downplay the threat posed by the virus. Earlier this week, he told people to stop whining. The surge in cases has put health systems in most of Brazil's largest cities under immense pressure, with many close to collapse. Preliminary data from a study in Brazil indicates that the COVID-19 vaccine developed by China's Sinovac Biotech Limited is effective against the P1 variant of the virus first discovered in Brazil. Report from earlier this week, which said the study has tested the blood of vaccinated people against the Brazilian variant of the virus. CoronaVac, as the Sinovac short is known, is the main vaccine currently being used to inoculate people in Brazil. Dimas Kovas, head of Research Institute Butantan, which is manufacturing the Sinovac vaccine, said how the tests in China have indicated effectiveness against the UK and South Africa variants. Butantan has already delivered 16 million doses of the vaccine to Brazil's Ministry of Health, which has acquired 4 million doses from India of the Oxford AstraZeneca vaccine.
Japan has decided that foreign spectators will not be welcome at this summer's Tokyo Olympics and Paralympics due to COVID-19 concerns, according to Kyodo News Agency, who cited officials with knowledge of the matter. The Olympics and Paralympics are scheduled for this summer after both have been postponed for a year. Kyodo said the government decided not to invite fans from abroad given public concerns about the coronavirus and the detection of more contagious variants in many countries. It also said the opening ceremony of the torch relay would be held without spectators. Representatives of Tokyo 2020 were not immediately available for comment. In the 2018 Winter Games in Pyeongchang in South Korea, the last Olympic Games, international fans accounted for 20% of ticket sales. While coronavirus infections have been relatively low in Japan compared with the United States and many European countries, it has been hit hard by a third wave of the pandemic. Tokyo remains under a state of emergency. A Yomiuri newspaper poll showed that 77% of Japanese people do not want international visitors at the Games, amid fears over a resurgence of infections.
Shares of GameStop are on fire once again, up for a fifth straight session on Tuesday. The latest surge coming ahead of an expected shakeup of the gaming retailer's business. It has tapped Chewy co-founder Ryan Cohen, who is also a major GameStop shareholder and board member, to oversee a transition away from its reliance on brick-and-mortar sales to focus more on e-commerce. The stock is also getting a boost from speculation that small investors will take portions of their upcoming $1,400 stimulus checks and pour it into the market. And with GameStop still a highly mentioned stock on social media forums like Reddit's Wall Street Bets, some investors believe the stock will see a boost. But this stock has been anything but a sure bet. After surging to a record high of $482 a share in January, as the poster child for the so-called meme rally, the stock price has been cut in half. But that is still way above where it started the year. The Reddit-induced frenzy, which sparked an epic battle between small-time investors and Wall Street hedge funds, got so heated, trading app Robinhood at one point halted trading in the stock. The saga prompted another congressional hearing on Tuesday. As for the stock, there are strategic risks ahead. The company has to successfully find a way to offset the pressure its retail stores are under as more customers gravitate towards digital downloads of video games. But some investors still think GameStop will come out a winner and are reluctant to stop buying this stock.